my sewing friends. Here is my collaboration with Michelle for a Michelle Sews Again. I'm Jen, and this is my sewing room where I was so pleased to get to collaborate with Michelle from Michelle Sews Again. But before I get into that, I gotta rave. I gotta rave about Michelle because, oh my gosh, Michelle. Michelle is, first of all, she is a lovely person. She's very analytical, so she's a person that you can say, hey, what do you think of this? And she'll give you a very analytical answer, which is always great because I am all over the place. You know, my brain just is all over the place all the time, which is great if you want all kinds of observations. But if you want a well thought out answer, she's your person. She really is. The thing though that counterbalances all that is that she is so unafraid to play with color, and she is so creative in the way that she mixes up colors in her wardrobe. She loves bright, bold color, and she looks great in it too. But she will color block things in such a way that I always think, oh, I wouldn't have put those colors together, but that looks amazing. So well done. I always look to her for inspiration when it comes to color. She also dyes things. She has kind of ventured off into ice dyeing, which has led to immersion dyeing, and she has yards of fabric that she has bought to dye. And she's always comes out well. On the sewcation that I took with her and 3 other friends, she taught us how to ice dye. And I got to tell you, when I was done, it looked like a couple of professional t-shirts that I did. And it was because she knows what dyes to use, how to do it. She's gone through the process, perfected the process, and she's a wealth of information about that. So I'm going to direct you to her video up here. And also I'm going to link both the video and her channel down below, because you really, if you have any interest at all in playing with color, playing with dye, go check her out because you'll learn a lot and you will get to experience her personality, which is the best part. Okay, so for this collab, we decided that we wanted to do a faux jumpsuit out of thrifted fabric. So faux jumpsuit, thrifted fabric. So we went thrifting one day and here's what happened. Me and Michelle are, look how tall I am. I'm like 100 feet taller than her. Here, let me come down here. Yeah. We are at Goodwill, and it's a Goodwill near both of us. Kind of, were you halfway?
It took me about 45 minutes.
Okay, it's closer to me. But it will be closer to her because she's going to come live by me. Anyway, we're at Goodwill looking at fabric. Like, you know, like shower curtains and sheets and bed covers and tablecloths, and we're finding a few things. We really are. Yep. Like, we are filling up a cart. Michelle is buying white because
I'm gonna dye it.
Yeah, cool, huh? We were just talking about actually dyeing this and talking about what the pros and cons are of dyeing something, yeah, with a print. And so, yeah.
Might be something worth playing with. One of my experiments.
Yeah.
I think I might get it.
Yeah, good idea. Here's some, what we think is Liverpool fabric. And while I like it, I don't know. This, it's curtains.
It's like cashmere scarf. That could make a cute ruffle on something.
Yeah. So we're looking at these shirts.
I saw, I think it was Blueprint DIY, had a refashioned dress made out of men's dress shirts, and she used the shirt for the top and then used a bunch of different hems and made a bunch of different like irregular ruffles. It was super cute. I was thinking about making one of those.
We have done all the damage we can do. We are checking out, and we found some good stuff. So there we go. We're walking out. We both have huge bags, and we both spent about the same amount of money. Yeah, we really did. And now, of course, you have to have Starbucks no matter where you go with your friends. We had a great time. Thoroughly enjoyed shopping with her and watching her go a whole different direction with some other things that she had seen and wanted to try and do. So she went kind of down the whole men's shirt aisle and was thinking about creating all, something else completely different. And I, in the meantime, was thinking circle skirts for my girls. So we were thrifting for not just these outfits, but also other outfits. We had a great time. Our inspiration photo had two key things in it. First of all, the top had to have a big statement sleeve, great big statement sleeve. And this, I think, is a pretty decent appropriation of that. The other thing was we wanted wide leg pants. We are not women who traditionally or commonly wear wide leg pants. I like the idea of wide leg pants, but I don't know that they always work on me. But we thought, let's just go for it. Let's just do that. So I used two patterns that I had in my stash. They're both from 2008. They are Simplicity 2936 and Vogue 1050. This is Sandra Betsina. This is, I don't know, NK Designs, it says. So let me tell you about each one. But before I do that, let me tell you that I had to get some help from Michelle and a couple of other friends on what fabric to use. So I pulled out a king size sheet, and that's what this is. This is 100% cotton. And then I used, for the pleat insets on the pants, I used a microfiber sheet that was a twin size sheet that I had in my stash. So I have quite a bit of this left. This is the trim, the contrast. And the king size sheet, I gotta tell you, when I added together the yardage for the two patterns, I was gonna need like 5.5 yards of fabric. And I laid out this king size sheet and I have tons left over. And it's not just because I had a king size sheet, it was because you don't need nearly as much yardage as the two things added together might call for. And the reason for that is that you can Tetris the thing together in such a way that, sometimes you can use less fabric. That was very common when I was younger. That happened a lot. So, okay, the top. This top is a button front. It has tucks in the front, tucks in the back, and elasticized sleeve. Well, I changed a few things. First of all, I got rid of the button front. And the reason I could do this with a woven fabric was because, first of all, it has raglan sleeves and it has a great big wide neckline. And I knew, having made this before, because I didn't want to mess around with trying to fit a new pattern, having made it before, I knew that even the button front top that I made, I pull it over my head all the time. And I thought, well, I think that I'll be okay. So I took away that button front by just laying the center front line on the pattern, which is marked, and I laid it on the fold. That was it. I mean, I didn't need to add seam allowance or anything because there's no seam here. So yeah, worked great. It was really simple. A couple of other things I did. First of all, I didn't use elastic on my sleeve because I don't like elastic sleeves. They grab and I don't like them. I have, in my life, gotten to the point where I like a nice loose binding. So that's what I did. I created a bias binding from my contrast fabric. I hemmed it, but I hemmed it with a very wide hem. The same kind of top stitching that I did here, I did the same width on the hem. And I did that because I might want to make this longer later. I don't know. I was undecided on the length of the hem, so I thought, well, I'll just put a big hem in, and that way if I want to change it, I can. The other thing I did was I dropped these front tucks down 1 inch. I took away 1 inch at the top, I added it at the bottom. And I did that because my apex is low and I have to be careful about darts and tucks and things like that, that they aren't going to hit me too high. So I did that. All of the tucks, 4 in front, 2 on each side, and then 2 in back, all call for you to draw a line and then stitch at 1/4 of an inch away, and that forms your tuck. It's like a fisheye dart, basically. Well, in the back, I decided I wanted it tighter, so I pulled it in. I stitched it at 3/4 of an inch rather than at 1/4 of an inch. So I took away a lot of, ease back here. And I worried about that a little bit because I didn't know if I was taking away too much ease and it would make it difficult to get it on and off, but no worries. Now the other thing is this top, like most tops, are made so that it does this. And you know, most women in general need that. My hips are fairly narrow, so I pulled out another probably 3/4 of an inch to an inch on each side seam. I pulled that fullness out and made it go more straight up and down. And I'm much happier with that because I wanted a closer fit to make it look a lot more like a jumpsuit. So those were the changes I made to the top. Now the pants, I used Vogue 1050. And this is a Sandra Betsina pattern. So a little bit different in terms of the sizing and the instructions. So let's start with sizing. She's got all the sizes in one envelope, and they're all A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you know, like that. It's very size inclusive, actually. You pick your size based on your hip measurement, which is really smart. And I've learned that with pants, that's a good idea. These pants I had made before, and I knew that they were really well drafted and also that the instructions were very clear. But I was reminded of that again. Sandra Betsina, this woman is not fooling around when she tells you how to do stuff. She is an incredible teacher. I've watched some classes that she's done on Craftsy, and what I would give to be able to go to a class in person with her, because I've learned so many things, techniques and just general knowledge about the way fabrics behave and the way things are drafted. I really, really loved the instructions on this. I think that they were very effective in getting a good fit and also in teaching you a couple of things about the way pants are put together and best ways to accomplish your goal, to get there. I can't rave enough about that. So excellent pattern. Now, the things that happen with that pattern, with any pants pattern, it takes a little bit to get the fit. And when I went to try them on, it calls for a back zip, and then it has side insets of elastic on the waistband. So you have a flat front waistband. You have the two pieces on the side that are the side waistbands that are gathered with elastic, and then your back waistbands. You have two of those. And you have two of those because there's a center back zip. Well, I tried them on, and I felt like they were fitting really well. I liked the fit a lot. I thought I could probably tweak this a little bit, but then I went to take them off and I just pulled them out and realized I forgot to unzip these. Well, because I could get them off so easily by not bothering with that zipper, I just went back in and took the zipper out, stitched up that center back seam, and then took a little bit out of the waistline seam, which helped. Also, the crotch depth was a little bit big on me, so I went back in and took a more generous seam allowance, and that seemed to solve that problem. I don't think it would solve that problem for a lot of people, but for me, it worked. It calls for ties up the side, and I didn't want ties. Well, you can do whatever you want, and she will tell you, do whatever you want, be creative. The pattern will tell you can use little frogs, fabric or metal frogs. You can use ties. You can do just bar tacks. And I had made these before. I didn't want to mess around with something I hadn't made before. So you could just do bar tacks. And you can tell on this pair that I made, those bar tacks work great to hold that pleat inset tight at the top so then it can flare out at the bottom. Well, I put the ties on and I didn't like them. So I took the ties and I turned them into little X's. So I've got little X's that are going up and down here. And I like that a lot better. I feel like it's a lot, I don't know, it's a lot more creative, a little more inventive. The only thing about this pattern that I found challenging was the way that the waistband is done. Like I said, you have one waistband in the front, two on the sides, and then two in the back. It's not like you have that many waistbands, that many pieces that make up the waistband. Well, it's a waistband like any other waistband. You know, you sew it to the top of your skirt or your pants, and it's doubled, and you finish the top edge, and then you fold it down and stitch it down. Well, the way this tells you to do it, you have that side waistband piece and you have to insert elastic. So the way you do it is before you fold this down to stitch it down, you put the elastic in. And all you do is you insert it and then you stitch in the ditch here. Well, the thing is, when you go to stitch your waistband down, which ideally you have finished this edge, and so what you do is stitch in the ditch on the outside. Well, you've got to account for all of this gathering here. So you have to pull that taut and then stitch it down. So if you're stitching in the ditch from the other side, you're praying and hoping that you're going to catch that edge. So my advice would be to baste it down and make sure that you are catching that edge. And then when you go to stitch it, you can just hold it taut to stitch it, but you want to make sure that this edge is where it needs to be, because when you're pulling it out of shape like that, just in order to get that line of stitching in there, it would be easy to mess it up. So I didn't realize on this, I guess I did a Hong Kong finish. Who knew? I should have known. So that was really the only challenge with the pants. I love these pants. I think they're so well drafted, so well, the instructions are written so well that I highly recommend the pattern. So overall, how do I feel about this? Well, I think it was a great experience. I will collaborate with Michelle on whatever she wants to do. I tell you what, she is such a pleasure as a person, and to bounce ideas off of and come up with solutions. Just we talk a lot anyway, but we talked a lot during the process about the challenges we were having and the ways that we were solving our problems, and offering suggestions, that kind of thing. So yeah, that part was really good. Actually, the best part of the whole collab was probably going to Starbucks after we went shopping. Starbucks with a friend. This is the best. It is the best. She helped me choose my fabric, because I had picked out another fabric that she actually had dyed and gifted me. And then, in talking about it, I had this also. So I said, what do you think? And she said, I think you should go with this, the sheet, because first of all, it was thrifted. And second of all, she and Madi, two of my friends that I Zoom with on Tuesday nights, and Carmen, they just really liked this better than the other thing. So that was really helpful. We did stay true to our inspiration photos. Both of us kept the big sleeve, kept the wide legs, and it took a little tweaking, but I think we both were able to capture what we were aiming for with the inspiration photos. We both learned how a faux jumpsuit looks on us. I wasn't sure I would like it, but I'm kind of liking it, actually. I am gaining confidence with pants. I have struggled with pants and struggled, and I think that as I go along, I'm learning as I go. And so this was a great opportunity to just learn a few more things about the way pants fit and ways to get them to fit. And then, it was such a pleasure doing a pattern from Sandra Betsina, because she just makes it so easy. I was able to successfully convert this top from a button front to just a pullover, and I'm really happy that there wasn't more to it than what there was, and also that with this woven, I still had enough ease. So I think that added to my knowledge of how much ease I need in a woven garment, a woven top, a bodice. And now I have the confidence to look at a pattern and go, well, if I don't want that button front or that zip front or that center front seam, then I can easily change it. With regard to the fabrics that I used, I do think that this is a little light for what I was going for. I do kind of wish that I'd used a darker fabric. But the beauty of it is that if I want to change it, I can just go back to Michelle and go, hey, can I dye this? What do you think? And she'll be able to help me. But the fabric overall was a great choice. This cotton is so comfortable. It feels like I'm wearing pajamas. It really does. It breathes because it's a cotton sheet. And the microfiber trim is so light. This stuff is so light. And it doesn't breathe because it's polyester, but I only used it for trim, so I don't really need to worry much about that. I think that I'm happy with where I got with this whole outfit, going from the inspiration to this. I think that I really did achieve the whole faux jumpsuit thing in a very comfortable, easy to wear way. And I think that I learned about proportion and about how color works. I think Michelle is really the master at that, but I learned, I learned some things from this. So overall, I think it was a fantastic experience, and I would highly recommend trying something like this, seeing if you can put a top with a bottom and then mesh it together so that it really does look like a faux jumpsuit. So don't forget to check out Michelle's video linked up here and down below. And also let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your opinion. And if you'd like to see other collabs that I've done in the past, have a look over here at this playlist, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.